Hey guys, welcome back. Stop Talk and Roll episode 234. We break down some jiu-jitsu rounds. Today we have Eddie and Dan rolling over here. Looks like the same footage from yesterday because it is, but we're just focusing on these guys. Eddie's in the blue and black rash guard, and Dan's in the straight black rash guard. And yeah, so starting off with some shin to shin. Oh, we've abandoned it. Oh, we're going back in and trying to hit some leg locks. Okay, so, enter into Ashigurami, excuse me. So, let's see what Dan does for a second. Oh, and Eddie closes his legs. Okay, so before we know that Eddie's going to do that, when you're trying to enter into leg entanglements, guys, you have to be ready to go to both legs, okay? Eddie shuts down the entry. Well, first it's open. Sorry, and I'm the one blocking the way. First it's open because this leg is up, okay? And he goes to back step. You try to hit like an X guard here, but you can't really because you're technically like in front of his legs here, and you go to throw in a straight ashi. Now the issue here is Eddie's put his weight on that knee. Now, unless you can get it locked in and you have the power to push him back over, which I wouldn't recommend, you have to be ready to change your plan here. Now, ideally, this foot should actually be behind Eddie's knee here as a hook. And what you could do is when Eddie goes to put his weight on this leg, this leg should be generally weightless, okay? So if your foot is here now, if it's in the correct spot and it's blocking, your shin should act as a wedge and be able to keep his leg from immediately collapsing down as well, which is what Eddie does in a second, from him being able to put weight on both knees. And then leg entanglements might be a little bit more difficult. We're going to have to create a situation where Eddie puts weight on a leg so we can attack the other leg. Generally, though, because Eddie is putting weight on this leg over here, this leg, like I said before, is weightless. So that's the leg we're going to want to attack now. So if this hook is in, assuming this hook is in the right place, all you have to do is pull that to your chest, replace with your hand over the top, and you're going to shoot your legs through to go into Ashigurami now on this leg. Then Eddie has a choice. If you have it locked in, it's going to be hard for him to put his weight down, but say he does, we can go back to the other leg, and you want to go back and forth between the legs. Okay, you don't want to just hyper-focus on one leg. However, Eddie does get both legs to the floor and resets. Let's see. We have another opportunity now. Dan, if you can, I'd sit back up. Hard to do, though. Eddie has got quite the size difference here. Nice pass there. Eddie gets through. Straight to mount. Looks like he's shooting for looked like a no-gi Ezekiel for a second. Dan, I like how you're staying on your side. It's super important to actually trying to get out. So this is great that you're doing that. Sorry about the color here, guys. A little hard to see what's going on. I know it's black rash guard on black rash guard. Very nice. Eddie's going for, oh, come on. I did you guys yesterday. Get out of here. Let's go. Let's see. Who's going to move? There we go. Jan. It's my boy. All right. So are we turtled? No, we're not turtled. Eddie's staying nice and heavy on top. Looks like we get to a 3/4 mount. Nice job, Dan. Uses that to get back. Beautiful. So that's kind of what I was talking about before with the wedge in. If you can get a hook in place, which is what you do here, right? Like, so you can see in the mirror, we have a hook in place, and let's see, this is very hard to see, but we have a shin, and we have a foot right here, and now we can assume, obviously, because the foot's there, the shin is going to be right behind it. And we can see that here. You can see kind of his knee sticking up. This lets you push him away, right? So your shin is acting as that wedge, and you could use that to push him away, which you do to get your guard back. Going to De La Hiva. Oh, shin to shin. Oh, but your foot's behind. Let's see. Oh, it was a bait. Nice. Yeah, he baited you hard. I mean, so, okay. Dan, I hate to use this I hate to use you like this, but this is a good lesson for everyone, okay? If you're training with someone who's been training for a while, and like everyone in this room minus like Zach and Colin, I would say has been training for a while, like more than a year. If something seems too easy or too good to be true, it probably is, okay? It probably is a trap. Now, that doesn't mean you don't go for whatever you're trying to go for, but you need to operate under that assumption. Because you're going to get caught with stuff like this. If I'm doing this to Eddy, right, and he's just letting me move behind him, I'm like, okay, but I'm going to keep everything retracted and tight and get ready to hit whatever is going to happen, or get ready to defend whatever is going to happen, because it's just too good to be true. Like, why would Eddy let me get behind him? Eddy would not let me do that, right? Like, Dan, you're good at jiu-jitsu. He's like, I don't want you behind me, just like Eddy doesn't want you behind him. Like, that's not, it's a trap, okay? So what Eddy did here, if you're unsure, Dan, I'm sure you recognize what he did, but you know, if you're just watching the show and you're unsure, and by the way, you know, if you happen to like what we're doing here, drop a like, subscribe to the channel, ring that notification bell. I get these episodes out every morning, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Saturday. If you're unsure, bam. Okay, so he sits around the back. What Eddy is looking for is this foot right here. Okay, the second, basically, or it's the foot and the knee. The second Dan commits too far with his leg, Eddy's going to sit right down, right past his knee, and get all the way down to his hip, okay? And once he gets to his hip, yeah, right there, sits back, gets over, and applies a knee bar, okay? Now, Eddy, just for to improve your knee bar a little bit, always finish a knee bar with the foot on the top side of your body, whatever orientation that is. So basically opposite the floor, okay? So floor is on this side, I'm finishing the knee bar over here. Floor is on this side, finishing the knee bar over here, okay? It looks like he kind of like went in the middle here, or maybe on the bottom, or maybe even a toe hold. Look, oh, you know what? That's really hard to see in the mirror. I need to figure out a reverse button. Looks like, yeah, you know what? Looks like it was a toe hold, okay? Which they're sister moves. Knee bars and toe holds go together really nicely. All right, so we've re-engaged. Eddy's looking to pass again. We get the whizzer in, so we can't take it back easily. Let's see. So again, if you want to get fancy here, is your hook in? So like this is a very different situation, Dan, if you get your hook on the inside. I've noticed a couple times where your hooks are ending up on the outside. Now, I'm not saying you have to play like a cookie cutter game. You have to play exactly like me. However, let's assume this foot's on the inside right now. It's just, I don't know what this foot's doing for you. And I don't mean that I don't mean that coming as a coach right now. I'm saying that like as a fellow jiu-jitsu practitioner, I don't understand what that hook is doing for you. Okay, like I don't know what that is going, like how that's going to help you right now. I mean, I know you're trying to play, maybe you're trying to play half guard, but even still, you're not in half, like here, you're essentially at a half guard at this point, right? So I would get that half butterfly, get that hook in, okay? Now, here's the difference. Right? Let's assume that hook's in right now. So your foot, instead of dangling out here, is in the middle. You could invert. This might be really hard to see. I think I do this on video, an upcoming video. I might have to like backtrack this with Vanessa. Oh, and I just realized I needed to do something else. Okay, I'll do that after. So, but basically what you want to do is hook behind his leg. Okay, and you're going to invert and essentially turn this into a cross ashi position. But we'll save that for another day. We're working on that this week in jiu-jitsu in class, although this episode's coming out after the fact. All right, so we have a nice little back take, or attempt anyways. We don't have it quite yet, but he is around his neck. Nice. that is, thank you, Eddie. I was talking about this in a recent episode with Jamie and Gabriel about how to maintain the back from north-south, and you just did it, which is where you you didn't have to get fully parallel, but you get parallel with them. Drive heavy, like over this motion into the back of their head, put their head to their chin to their chest, and walk them up. Fantastic. Gets a hook in. You can easily go. Excuse me. You can easily go HPBH right now, which I believe we talked about yesterday. Yeah, or no, a few days ago. Boom. Yep. Yep. Beautiful. What happened here though? We're losing them. We got a wrong side body triangle in, which isn't the worst thing in the world if you intend to. Okay, not the worst thing in the world. Yep, over his neck. You can still get the finish over his face right here. You could look this to pull him to the other side. Both hands, Dan. You gotta use both hands to defend. Keep your head on the opposite side. Oh, very slick. Nice, Eddie. That's gotta be, yeah. That was nice. Okay, let's see. What did Eddie do here? So Eddie's kind of struck. Look at this choke. Dan did a pretty good job defending. It's not really across his neck. Like, it's not entirely in the right position. So, like, look, I mean, his elbow's all the way over here. There's so much space here. Dan's probably chilling right now. So Eddie, oh, that's nice. That's slick. He just puts his hand on the other side of his head, and his elbow's in the perfect position. That's really nice. So look, his elbow is is that his left arm? Yeah, his elbow here is basically where it needs to be to choke on that side. So Eddie recognizes this, basically just does a pivot with his elbow, pivots around, and gets the choke right in. Beautiful. Very nice. Very nice. Yeah, nice job. That's a slick transition. All right, reset. Eddie's passing again. I'm assuming, Dan, you're trying to force half guard to keep working on it, which is great. But I would use other guards to help you get there, because playing half guard when somebody's standing is going to be a tall order. Very nice job keeping your elbow knee space controlled. I know Eddie got in there for like half a second, but it looks like you got it. It looks like you're about to get it back. Eddie, a very simple thing it looks like you might start doing this right now, but just take your leg and go over the top of his legs. And that's a pretty easy way to maintain control. You guys are going off camera here. Don't do this to me, guys. There we go. Okay, thank you. All right, we get a turtle. We have an arm in that elbow knee space, so we have some potential here. Nice. And just turn them over. That's it. That's a good strategy too, guys. Were you reaching back? No, that's fine. Okay. Nice job. Nice job getting your elbow in there. Be careful. Watch for like head and arm chokes, but yep, very nice. Get your head control back, or at least deny it. Right here, Eddie. Step over with your leg. Oh man, this is easy. Are you about to do it? I feel like you're like about to do it and you're just not doing it. Okay, timer right now. Yeah, man, just right here. Like at any point, just throw this leg over the top and you do like a mount position, just low, right above the knees. Okay, right up. Let's see, I think he lays down in a second. But basically just right here, right above the knees. You do like a very low mount, but it's very difficult to deal with. And then you can work your way up the body from there. All right, guys, thank you so much. I already asked you to like and subscribe, but please, if you haven't already, do it again. Check out the description below. I'd love to get you on the channel, so all that information is down there. And have a lovely day. Bye.